The split leg box handstand is an excellent exercise for building more control in your kick-up, because we'll be practicing the ability to balance in the exact same position that we want to arrive in from our kick-up. And that is with our legs in this scissor position. There are 3 levels to this exercise that I usually use. The first one is just performing you would call it an isometric, so an extended hold with the bottom leg staying in position on the box. It's going to look like this. You're going to want a box or something that's about hip height. A little bit higher will be slightly easier, and a little bit lower will be slightly harder. And the ideal height will also depend a little bit on your flexibility. So if you're quite stiff, you might have to allow the bottom leg to bend slightly, and that's completely fine. But try to keep it as straight as possible. Alright, so we're going to move into position. I'm going to start by seeing if I can find a position with my hip more or less right over my hands, and then lift one leg up into position. So I'm going to try finding a straight line from my foot and all the way down towards my hips. And then I'm going to push my shoulders into the floor. It's fine to let the top leg go slightly towards the back side. It's going to make it a little bit easier to hold the position. And the basic position here, holding for time, is just pushing into the floor to try to make this foot on the box as light as possible. This can feel extremely heavy in the beginning when just starting out, but that's fine. If it feels like it's difficult, it's actually often a good sign that you're doing some things right. What we would usually want to feel is especially like our upper back and our traps and shoulders working really hard to elevate the shoulders to push into the floor, which is the main action that is eventually going to allow us to make the foot lift off the box. The second progression is going to be just doing the exact same setup, but getting to a point where I can start to make the bottom leg float off of the floor. There's usually a middle step where instead of just floating off, it's going to be these small taps. But like when doing toe pulls on the floor, we want to think that the driver is not that I'm lifting the leg, it's because I'm pushing from the shoulders that I'm able to make the leg float off of the box. So step 1 and 2 will usually not be like going straight from one to the other. There will usually be this middle ground where you're starting to do some small taps, and then these holds will slowly get longer until you're able to hold the position with the bottom leg just floating barely off of the box for extended periods of time. The final progression of this one is going to be with the bottom leg on the box, pushing until the bottom leg floats off the box, coming all the way up into a straight handstand and coming back again. So it's going to look like this. Same setup as before, positioning hips right over shoulders and hands, leg in position, push until the leg comes off, collect the legs in a controlled fashion, and then lower down with control. And of course, eventually we can do this for multiple reps and on both sides. But the key element to all of these is trying to get the alignment, and then the major thing is the push from the shoulders, having that as the main driver of the lift off from the box.